One. Hey everybody, it's Mama D here, and welcome to Angel Meadows, a conversation with friends. And tonight I am really pleased to have Gina Bankston, known as, oh my god, she's got a litany of names, but I call her Foxy G because this seems to fit her perfectly. And I can't start naming off everything she does because then I'd just be talking all by myself for at least 45 minutes. But she is like a phenomenal woman. She can do everything, and she has the boys. The boys have her back, and she has their back, and it's amazing, amazing lady. Okay, so Gina, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to be here with Mama D. She's one of my favorite alter ego personality on the radio. I mean, I love her dearly, so I'm always happy to either have her on my show or be on hers.
God, it's scary when we get together. And what people don't know is quietly in the corner, for the moment, is the ever so adorable Pookie, also known as Effie George. Hey, Chris.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Now, Gina, how did, like I said, I was looking to usually my guests have like one or two, maybe three links, and I've got 7 links for you. You are like super busy, and then over the last little while, you move from one state to another, still keeping everything. Well, your head didn't explode because it's still there on your shoulders, but I mean, what? Oh, okay, where did you start?
Oh my goodness. I am a businesswoman, first and foremost. So when I see a good opportunity, I usually run with it. I love the paranormal. I love the paranormal field. So I started with a regular, investigating team and, well, actually several. And then those kind of went to the wayside, and then I started my own. And then I found Pookie, and he is like my ultimate partner in the paranormal. And now I have Christopher, who is my real, he's my honey and my love, and a partner also in the paranormal. So I do a lot paranormally related. So with Pookie, we have C&G Productions, where we do a lot of in-home type things. So we take like think of a Tupperware party where you used to have your friends come over to your house. Well, we have a psychic para event at your home. So what we do is we have like 10, 15 people at your house, and Chris gives readings to half of them, and I take half of them and I teach Paranormal 101, and then we switch, halfway through, and we'll do, that's one type of event. And then we do a lot of teaching things where Chris is the master, because he is the ultimate psychic medium, real deal, and you couldn't find a nicer god. And I love being a partner with him. We haven't been doing a lot lately because of my move. But we'll be getting back in the swing of things. And my season is just starting because now I'm actually, yeah, like you said, I'm very busy. So let me do this. Okay. So I have C&G Productions with Chris. I have Ghostly Excursions with Bob. I'm a new member of the Ghost Detectives TV show. I am a part of the 555 Paranormal Events as one of their lead investigators, which is another group thing run by Brandy Wells, and she's another psychic, and she books these places, and we have, a bunch of different people come in to these different various haunted locations, and you have a lot of lead investigators. So I'm like one of those, but I've only done one event with her thus far, just because I've been so busy. And then Chris and I were doing live podcasts for a while, but he got so in demand with his psychic readings that we haven't been doing the Vision Quest for so long. But the name thing, the name that I have everyone learn, Chris is the one that does it. He's the one who gave me the name, and he's the one who says it the absolute best. And Chris, can you just tell the people who I am?
God, it's been a while. I hope I do it right. Okay. Gina B, the place to be. P Fox, Paranormal Fox, the Paranormal Princess herself, G-Spot Gina Bankston.
There it is.
So
Yay.
you should record. You should record that and have that as your opening to all your shows, whether you're on it or whether it's your show or you're going to be on the show, because that would be like just totally awesome. Just like hit play button.
I should.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, because he
Okay.
was
Yes.
my partner. Yeah, and then I do the radio show, and Chris was my partner on the radio show, and now he left. He's so busy with all his readings, he can't really be on the show with me, but he will be on a few of them. We got a good one left.
Okay, cool. I've seen Chris when he had another co-host, and then she left and you came in, and you guys seemed to just click. There was no skip in the beat. There was no, it didn't seem like there was any distance of time with you guys.
Well, can I add something there? Well, the call you're talking about was River Wildfire Moon, and she's one of my very close friends. I consider her like a little
I love
sister.
River. Yeah,
I love her.
River.
Absolutely, I adore the woman. Anyway, so when she said that she couldn't do the show no more, and she had warned me like a year prior, and she told me, she goes, in about a year I'm going to have to stop doing the show, so I knew it was coming, and then I had to start to search for a new co-host, and for me, it really wasn't even a search. I knew who I wanted, and I called River, and I said, River, I know who I want. She goes, I know who you want too. You want Gina. I said, damn right, and I brought Gina in, and like you said, it was like we never skipped a beat, because Gina and I are such good friends, and we know each other so well that, I only had one rule with the show: don't hold back. I told her, I said, if you hold back, it's not going to work. And from day one, the first day she held a little bit, but by the second and third show, I feel like she was a seasoned pro, and now she's doing it by herself, and she's phenomenal.
Yeah, she is. I get to listen. I get to listen when you do your shows with the Facebook Live. I usually watch on the Facebook Live because then I get to see everything. It's not just because I'm visually as well as listening to everybody. And if nobody ever listened to Gina's Facebook Live, I swear to God, the next one you have, I'm going to share it like crazy, because she's like, if she can't talk because her sister talks, she's sending out little heart love. Oh, she's so adorable. It's like, this is Gina. But trust me, I've never seen you get angry or get frustrated, but something tells me,
Oh yeah.
Was it directed at you, Chris?
I have. Usually it was me that was getting angry and out of control, and she would send me the private messages, Pookie, calm down. But I seem to get a little bit twisted.
Oh yeah. I've gotten twisted.
I'm pretty sure that when people push that last button, you're just like,
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean,
the difference between me and Gina is my button is about the second one, hers is about the seventh or eighth. But when you get to that seventh or eighth button, look out.
I'm a asshole. But I'm gonna attest to, me being angry. He'll come in the room and he'll look at me and be like, okay, is it alright to come in here? He might be yelling and screaming, stomping and whatnot.
I saw when you were doing moves, when they lost I think it was your washer dryer.
Oh yeah. I was very angry. I was like, I stood back because I had my cell phone in my hand and I was screaming at them on the phone, where is my washer dryer? Because I'm coming to get it. They called and they said, we're running late, blah, blah, blah. And then they wanted to wait. They said their truck broke down, and I thought it was just an excuse, And I'm going, oh no, I need my dryer now. I've been, like a month and a half without a dryer. I need a dryer badly. And this was like, when I first moved into the house, and I'd had it, and they wanted me to wait another week. I'm like, no, hell no. So I went, I found where the truck was, broken on the side of the road. They had already had it out because they knew we were coming.
They're ready for you to
sign the papers and on your way. Because they did not, that's how angry I can get. And then look out. I'm a finished wop. I'm finishing Italian, I'll tell you what.
Oh, big mess.
Oh yeah. Don't mess with the fox. And I'm the queen of the Paramount here. And we got the Godfather himself with us. He is
I
the
was going to say
godfather.
that, the godfather of the Paramount. Now, there's something that you once told me about, that Chris does, and eventually, Chris, you're going to figure out how to get online and get into the show, and you're going to come to you do this thing called psychic poker.
Mm-hmm. That was
And,
made up years ago. My mentor used to do something called psychic poker where she used 2 decks of playing cards. And I told her I want to do it, and she said, I'll give it to you, but you got to make it bigger and better. So what I did was I got tarot cards and message cards that were very rare, like one of 250, one of 300, stuff like that. And I went from 2 plain decks of cards to 7 decks of tarot cards, and I do readings with 7 decks of cards at a time.
It's amazing to watch. It truly is. And how spot on he is every single time. It just blows my mind. I've never met a psychic like him. Never.
I will be getting in contact with you, Chris, about having a reading done for me. I keep going, okay, this is it, got it, everything's put aside, everything's blocked, and then it's like something happens, and I get all frustrated.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know where to find you. If I can't find you, I'll get Georgina.
Yeah.
But you did that. You spoke about it. I think the first show I had you guys on with me, and I think that this would be the perfect venue for it because people could also see the cards.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris has to get the password.
Yeah, Gina actually videotaped me doing it, and we put out like a little promo, explaining pretty much what I do. But I mean, Gina, you could explain it, Gina. I don't like talking about myself on that much. So I mean, you could tell people about psychic poker because you get into it.
Oh yeah, it is amazing. All the decks. He has so many different decks in there. They're various decks. They're not, the Rider tarot cards. These decks, they're all unique. They're all specific. They talk to him. And when he flips these cards, he'll ask you. He'll say, "All right, I'm talking to you now. And how many of these cards do you want? 5, 4, 3?" And they'll say 5. He goes, "No, you're gonna get 3." And he'll put down 3, right? and they go in different piles. And then you have this big, what we look at as a big nest of cards on the table. There's a story. It's like a movie to him, and he explains it all. And usually there's tears and everything, all the emotions in between, from people crying, people laughing, and just shock and awe, because he is just so right on, and everyone's different, and the one card that you could get the same card as me, and it means something completely different, because it's... Yeah,
exactly, because it's different than it's going for, yeah. So,
yeah, I like to say that I have my moments.
You have many moments, Pookie. Many.
One or two.
I have never heard a bad thing about you, Chris, about your readings, and of course, mostly I do listen to Gina, so I know that you're awesome because Gina's awesome. She's not the type of girl, she's not the type of woman to blow somebody's horn just because.
Never.
So I know.
No. That's one thing I know about. That's what I love about Gina is she'll tell you to your face if she thinks you're full of shit, and I see her do it. So Gina's as good as it gets. I'm 49 years old. I met Gina, I want to say 4 years ago now, and it took me whatever that was, 45 years of my life to meet my best friend. She's it.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I do. I love him so much, and I feel like I've known him forever. He's just the real deal. He's just he does anything for his friends, and and I've never seen anybody get so much freaking crap from people. Wow, it astonishes me because he doesn't deserve that.
You got to take it from where it comes from, Gina. People see on Facebook all the, people kissing my butt and being all nice and everything to me. But what they don't see is the inbox that I get from the haters. And, I don't really delete them. I keep them because, what? It keeps me real. It keeps me on my game. And, I know that not everybody's going to love me. I always say I might not be a cup of tea, but I'm a whiskey man. So if I rub you the wrong way, you know what? Hey, so be it. I couldn't care less. I always say I know what I bring to the table. I always say that. I know what I bring to the table, and I know there are a lot of people that don't like me because, I'm very straightforward and I say what I want to say, how I want to say it and whatnot, but that is what makes people like me as well. So, you gotta take the good with the bad.
Right. And everybody sees him online also as, like the party animal and the this and the that. And we have the annual para party, which we're trying to book now for September. The para party 4. We have a themed para party. Everyone gets dressed up in costumes. We have events, vendors and stuff in the afternoon. We have a party all night long. Everybody dresses. This year it's heroes and villains. And we have a lot goes on with the party.
One of the para parties about somebody in Superman drawers.
Absolutely. Chris always has every para party a different superhero underwear, and he will go running through the we have it where there's a pool, and he will go in the pool with his Superman, Batman, whatever. What do you have this year's those?
I haven't decided. I mean, I think I might be doing the Punisher, but I'm looking for Wolverine, and it should be known I have fantastic legs.
He really does. You should see the muscles on his legs. I couldn't even believe it. I've never seen muscles. I thought Bob's legs are. Well, hopefully I'm trying to get New Jersey. Tomorrow I'm actually making some more calls. I
sent you that one link. That one link is a Hilton Doubletree that we've been using, and it's close here, and it's supposedly very, very nice.
Right. Well, we got to see. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. We got to keep the costs down for the people.
Yep.
But I was looking at the place in Atlantic City though. It looked really spectacular. But I'll figure it out.
When you do book it, make sure that you let me know, that you send me the link and the poster and whatever, and I will surely share the heck out of that one. Because for everything I've seen you guys do, because you had I think it was last year, the year before, you had one, and of course I'm up here in Canada, and getting down there is not like breezy for me.
We've had several people come from Canada.
Yeah, but I don't drive, and I think my husband might not want to let me cross back over the border.
Okay, all right.
I go live with his family in Philly, so I'm good. But people had a great time. When you guys set up a party, it's like you said, it's not just it's not just this one little thing. It's a big ta-da. And it's something that takes a lot of work, and which again, I know everybody does their part of it. But I have this sneaky suspicion that you do a lot of it because it's hard for you to let it go for somebody else, because you just know it. You know exactly what you want. And sometimes it's easier to do it yourself than to explain to somebody what you want.
Yeah. And you gotta be able to persuade the hotels to, give you things.
Oh yeah.
And some people are just like, they come back with this outrageous money, like, oh, I talked to this hotel, and it's like, oh, it's this and this and this. And it's like, oh yeah, well, did you bargain with them? Did you make any deals with them? You gotta get that money down. No, I'm not paying top dollar for anything. Because then you're gonna charge so much money, and then people are worried about the money. Even though we give them oodles of notice, to put the money away. I always say, get your para party piggy banks going, but the money is for a room also, because we have the after party, which is what it's all famous for. Is the PJ after party. You have to wear appropriate PJs. We rent the whole floor, and then the party continues the rest of the night after we leave the room at midnight.
Chris is not wearing the baby dolls then, eh?
Oh, he was Superman the last one. He had Superman onesies on.
It was Spider-Man 1 year. It was Superman 1 year.
It's so funny. I wear foxes because why? Because I'm a parapod.
Really? Because you are foxy. Gee, that's right. You're the parapod. Now, when did your love for foxes come about?
I've always loved the foxes. It's just it's one of my main animal spirit guides. The foxes and bunnies, actually. I was really obsessed with bunnies. I'm an interior designer and a decorator as well. And when I first started my business, I used to put a rabbit in every design that I've done. And I'm an artist, I'm a muralist, I do all these things. I'm a tool belt diva, I build things, I smash things, bash things, and build them up. And there's nothing I can't do and won't do. And, but I used to, if I was doing a mural, I would paint a little bunny somewhere. I did clouds on a ceiling in a little girl's room, and I painted little bunnies in that as well. And angels.
So I have to stick a butterfly or two in there for me.
Well, from now on I will. I might paint some murals on the ceiling of my dining room here. You know, in the new
That'll be fun.
Castle Fox or Fox Manor or whatever. Thinking about it. Yeah.
That'll be cool.
He's been down the house once. He's come down. He's checked out the new Fox Manor.
Yep, I can't wait to come down again.
Yep, he's got his bedroom, and the girls he was having dinner with tonight were already fighting, saying, all right, if we have a housewarming party here, that they want one room and kick him up to the third floor into the attic, because my attic is, actually, it's another floor. There's 2 bedrooms up there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, no, that's his room. I made that room for him. That's my brother. That's his room. Girls, you're out.
Girls, y'all can go up to the attic.
That's right. Or you can go down to the living room. One or the other.
Now, you guys, like I said, have had shows for a long time. Out of all your guests, who was the most difficult? And Gina, you can't say Chris, and Chris can't say Gina. So each one of you, who was the most difficult guest you've ever had?
You want me to go first, G?
Yep.
Well, with me, there's 2. One really wasn't difficult. They just assholes. They call themselves the demon doctors. They came on my show proclaiming that they could do exorcisms over the phone, and I just pretty much crushed them for 2 hours. Tried to get them on the show again, but they refused. But the one person, and I don't remember his name. I remember his name was Richard because I called him Dick. It was when I had Victor the Voice Fireman as my co-host, and if anybody knows Victor, he's basically like a really nice guy, and he's somebody it's not easy to piss him off. It's not easy to be mean to the guy because he's basically like a really nice guy. And this guy came on, we were having some technical difficulties, and he was really giving Victor the business. I couldn't get on, and then when I got on, I told a story about a walk-in, which is when the spirit comes in and whatever, and he started giving me the business, and people were in the chat room, and I was trying to be nice. I was biting my tongue. Like I said, usually it's the second button with me. He got to the second button, I lost it on him. Only time I ever threw somebody off my show. His name was Richard something. He was from Australia. And I said, Richard, you're properly named because you're a real dick. And then I threw him off the air. And he was my most, I couldn't stand the guy.
So Poogie for me. Remember that guy? I can't remember his last name either. His first name was Bob, and he was a paranormal investigator, and he kept begging us to come on the show, saying I'm the greatest, I'm the best, blah blah blah. And he started off saying something rude about something. I don't know, a blowjob or something like that. And we're like, whoa, hey, we're not that kind of a show.
Oh, that's right. I don't remember who. He was a moron too.
Oh, God. We threw him off. Didn't we throw him? Did we cut him out?
We got rid of him after the first hour. But listen, I had a guy on the show before, Jimmy, before I ever even knew you. Okay, this is like when I had Lucifer as my co-host. There was a guy named Avenger Satanis, okay? That's what he went by on Facebook. He wrote a book about the Cthulhu tribe and all that stuff, and blah, blah, blah. It was the worst book I'd ever read in my life. Now, I'm intelligent. I read something, I understand it. I was reading pages 2 or 3 times to even attempt to understand it. I did not want to have him on the show, but we had already had him booked, and he was a Satanist, and one of the first things he said to me was, I became a Satanist to get laid. I was like, oh, you became a Satanist? Well, how does that even equate? He goes, oh, well, women love Satanists. I was like, alrighty. He lasted about 40 minutes before we got rid of him, too.
Wow. Yeah, people do make me say wow a lot.
Yeah.
But you give it a shot. You do too, I'm sure, Mama. A lot of people are always inbox and saying, oh, I'd be a great fit for your show. I have tons of emails. Oh, I would be perfect for your show. And it's like, well, what have you done? Or, do you have anything published? No, but I do, it's like, yeah, no.
Well, I'll tell you something, Mama. You want to know what's funny? Like, when Gina and I are doing the show together, and she knows I'm starting to get twisted, like we had a guy on the show who was trying to tell men how to be men. And the guy was the most unmanly man I could ever imagine, okay? And he was saying things that were just like so ridiculous. And I started, my onions started getting twisted, and Gina saw by the things I I was saying. And then the funny part is, you guys can't see what Gina and I are writing to each other behind the scenes. And she's like, Pookie, be nice. Pookie, be nice. It got to the point where I just couldn't be anymore. And I was like, come on. Do you remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. It was how to be a man.
Yeah.
I have the book. I have the book.
Oh, God.
It's all about a quarter of an inch thick, and it's a story. He wrote it as a story about him and his grandfather going on a walk, talking about how to be a man. Now, this guy is this, tall, skinny, dweeby guy with a bow tie, and, to me, if you're going to write a book about how to be a man, you should be at least a manly man. Oh, that was what I said. A manly man. You want to be a manly man. I was like,
yeah. And I was bringing up things, and you could just tell that he started sweating. I know he was taking his little handkerchief out of his pocket and patting his forehead because he was getting really nervous about some of the things I was saying. And people were now what we do is I go live on my Facebook page, and Gina goes live on her Facebook page, and our chat rooms are just exploding because they're like, I can't believe you're saying this stuff to this guy, and they could just see him starting to stutter and getting nervous. And to me, it was a great show.
Even shows that aren't that we think in the beginning are like totally but it makes it for an interesting show. Yeah, I enjoy listening to you guys. It's like but I've never yet had one of the shows that you kind of I have a feeling that he'll be because he sort of perks up when he's talking about it. So I think that he enjoys and he misses you too. How can you not?
Yeah. Well, in May, I'm having this show. So it's something to do with sex, paranormal and sex and past lives and something, I don't know. But as soon as I read it, I said, oh, this is a Pookie show. And I said, hey, you want to do this one? He said, yes. So the guy's name is Rob Alex. And I think it's May 10th or 17th or one of those. So Pookie will be joining me for this one. This one's right up his alley. I said, there's no way I can do this one without him. So,
I'll be as nice as I can, I promise, Gina.
Oh, I don't think you have to be. That's the point.
All right, it's going to be a good show.
Just be Chris. Yeah, just be Chris, because without, Gina doesn't want you to change, and I don't think you could if you even tried.
Oh, hell no.
No. He's perfect the way he is.
Gina, I'm starting to blush up.
So much. No, you're not. You're probably puffing on that damn cigar going, oh, shut up, woman. I know. Okay, Gina. Your most difficult investigation.
Oh, boy.
That's one thing about me is I kind of jump all over the place. So if I get lost, which you don't, people.
But there was a house in Connecticut. The woman, she was definitely in turmoil. But she was definitely drunk also. So it was really hard. So there was activity going on, but she was also, it was hard to do it because I tried to, if I'm doing like a home, I try to be more of a counselor and to keep the people calm and try to keep the spirit calm and try to get the story from both ends. So you try to talk to the people, the person, and find out what it is that's actually happening in the house. And that was difficult because the woman was difficult to talk to. But I gotten, because every time I go just for an interview, I have papers that you fill out, a whole bunch of them. So, if I deem it necessary to go, I'll go. And this one seemed legit. So I went. And I always have a recorder down when I, start talking. And there was stuff in the background. And so I knew that there was stuff going on there. Whether that contributed her to her drinking or whatnot, but it was difficult, but I figured it out, in the end. That would be the most difficult.
Yeah, I would assume people hide and mask a lot of problems behind alcohol, thinking it's going to stop.
That is worse.
I have a very dear friend, and she did that for many, many years. She hid behind drugs and alcohol because she thought she wanted to get the voices out of her head. I said, you're not letting them. you're not getting them out of your head. You're actually, just
You're
leaving the
making
door
it
open.
easier.
There you go. Look, come in. And
Right.
so, it took her a while. It actually took her dying to make her, wake up. She was some kind of accident. She moved away from me, and she went in some kind of accident, and she died. I believe she said she died twice on the table.
Wow.
And when she came out, after that, she never had a drink, any drugs, and she just sort of, when she would ask me questions previously, she would ask for an answer, and I'd give her the answer, but she would do it. So I stopped answering her. But once that happened, she started asking me questions, and I answered her, and she listened. And it's something, so, people don't get it, that alcohol is not something that's going to block it. You have to
No.
have all your senses to be able to take care of stuff that needs to be taken care of.
Exactly. And that is true also for people in their homes that are being haunted. You're being more susceptible. You're setting yourself up to get are inhibiting your senses. But paranormal investigators also should never investigate doing drugs or drinking, ever, because you're opening yourself up to any kind of harm, possessions, anything like that. I mean, it's really, really dangerous. This is no joke. This is reality. Chris has done 100 exorcisms, and it's not a joke. These spirits can be very powerful. And, there's all this crap all over the place about demons, and if they're not demons, they're just really bad spirits, and they get that way over years. And spirits get abused too. They get abused by paranormal investigators who
go in screaming and yelling. I know, I've heard. I've never been to an investigation. I'm curious about one, but I have a feeling that I'd be the woman that stands in the middle of the damn room, first touch on scream, take a banshee running the other way. I'd be great at the after,
They
evaluating
always
the
seem
tapes
to
and
go
stuff,
for those people too. I swear.
Yeah, it's like,
We run ghost hunts. Bob and I run ghost hunts, and I've done ghost hunts with Chris too, and it never fails. The newbie or the innocent one, that's the one that's gonna get pushed up, scratched, hair pulled, whatnot, every time. Every
yeah,
time.
but I would get my red-headed, angry scorpion temper would rile up after a while, but I think I'd be screaming. I'd get a lot of lovely words popping out at the same time.
Oh, I bet. But doing, what's eye-opening is doing, I've done spirit removals before,
Okay.
that I can tell when the spirit is gone, you can feel it. But
Yeah.
with Chris, when you need a little extra thing, with the exorcisms come into play, then Chris actually is a trans medium, he channels. And he channels the
Yeah.
spirit, and he'll take it in internally, and I have to monitor him and keep him calm and to watch everything that goes on and make sure that he doesn't get hurt himself or hurt someone else around him. And, it's a process. It can be a lengthy process, but it takes a lot out of him to do that, but it's quite amazing to watch, too.
Yeah, it's different, People think that, what you see on, like in the movies is real. I can tell you this, when I do an exorcism, there are things that you will see in movies that are very close to being true. But a lot of it is very, Hollywood, type stuff. The thing is, like, when I've done an exorcism, I have video where I have blue eyes, okay? I have video where my eyes are brown, where they actually turned up, where they were not blue anymore. So stuff like that, like, it's, some crazy stuff really happens, and what I'm happy with is, over the last couple of years, Gina started helping me with them, and I think Gina's been part of maybe 4 now, right, Gene?
Yep.
Yeah, so, and she's like the perfect person to have there with me because she's who is reliable and who is level-headed and isn't going to say this stupid thing to rile the spirit up, because when I'm doing an exorcism, I actually have the spirit in me, which is a different way to do an exorcism. It's not like the Catholic way where it's like the rites of exorcism, where all you do is chant and burn, church incense and say prayers and use holy words. I don't do it like that, okay? So, for me, I have to know that the people that are with me are they know me inside and out. You know, they know, like if I give them a look while I'm channeling, they know what it means. If I move a certain way, they know what it means. And, you know, I couldn't do what I do if I didn't have people like Gina who assisted me. That's a fact.
Yeah, he's had some good people assist him in the past. You know, I feel like I'm honored, you know, to assist him with those things. But it is amazing to watch too. You know, and he's done this too, like seances and whatnot that we'll do at some of our events. Like we went to Burn Bray, we had you know, some seances and channeling sessions too, so people actually get to talk with their loved ones, you know, firsthand too. So it was pretty amazing. Yeah. And again, everyone ends in tears. He loves to make people cry.
No. I don't like to make people cry. But I don't like to make people cry. But what happens is, if they cried, usually, I mean, it did something pretty awesome. So, it's kind of like a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah, he comes in and you're like, what'd they say? What'd they do? Everyone's crying. It's like, don't worry about it, Pookie.
You're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, but there's two kinds of tears. There's happy tears and there's sad tears. Even sad tears have a certain amount of happiness to them.
That's true.
You know, especially when you're getting messages. So yeah.
That is true.
Okay. So you have been together for 4 years now, you and Chris?
Yep.
Yes.
Seems like a lifetime.
I know, eh? Sometimes you sit there for 4 years.
All I can say is I can't get rid of her.
Nope. I really tried. But my move from Massachusetts, it would take me 5 hours, 5.5 hours to get from my house to his house in Staten Island. And now that I moved to Pennsylvania, it's like, how long did it take you to get home from here? Was it 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
I don't, maybe it was 2.5. It wasn't more than 2.5 hours.
Yeah, so, I mean, what a difference.
Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah, so that's going to be nice.
Right.
Okay, Brian, take care, my sweet.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I can't see any chat, any comments or anything.
No, they're not chatting, they're just chit-chatting and keeping questions. But everybody knows if you have a question for Gina and or Chris, type it in caps so that I can read it, because you know how I am. Something shiny and sparkly, and I look the other way and I missed it.
Very cool.
Chris, what was
I was going to ask him, what was his hardest exorcism?
Did you say something to me? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, what was your hardest exorcism?
My worst exorcism was, it was many years ago. I was married at the time, so it had to be at least, I'm going to say, I'm divorced 10 years. It's got to be like 12 years ago. It was the day before Easter, and I had my whole team at this house, and I remember walking into the house, and it was like the spirit of a little girl, and I said she was about 10, maybe 11 years old, and she reached out a hand, and I'd never been to the house before. She reached out a hand, and I grabbed it, and I told everybody what was happening, and my mentor was there, and she never comes on things like this because she's just a psychic, and, you know, like, this type of stuff really scares her, and I told her, I said, there's something wrong here. And she says it's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'll never forget that. And my hairs on my body started to stand. So now this little girl is like holding my hand, or, you know, you couldn't see it. I was the only one seeing it. She led me up the stairs. Now there was 3 rooms upstairs. She led me to the room I had to go to, which obviously I didn't know what it was. She let go of me, walked to the corner, and she kind of transformed into, and I know a lot of you won't believe this, and I'm okay with it, but she transformed into something that looked like a wolf or a dog, and the whole room started to smell like wet animal, okay? This exorcism went into Easter. It was 17 hours, okay? I had, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 people there with me for my team. All of them got sick for 3 days with like flu-like symptoms. I was sick for 6 days after this exorcism with flu-like symptoms. So it was one of the, I've done 100 exorcisms, and 3 of them I would deem demonic. This was one of them. It was by far the toughest thing I've ever done in my life.
It's scary. It's the real deal, too. It's scary, you know.
Have you ever had to walk away from one?
Absolutely not, and I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't, because if I walk away from, the way I look at it is like this, and this might sound arrogant, and honestly I really don't care if it does. I feel like I'm the last line, because, I've gone to places where they've had shaman come in and do their thing, and they've had, people who are into magic go in and do their thing, and they've had priests come in and do, exorcisms the way priests do exorcisms, and then when all that fails and they find me, I feel like if I can't do it, then they're screwed, and I just kind of feel like I was picked to do this, so I feel it's my job to see it through. And the way I look at it is I'm really aggressive, I'm really competitive, and when it comes to exorcism, what I've learned over all these years is if you have even the least bit of fear, you're done. Negative spirit will pick on anything that you're giving up, like, your weakness, and they will feed on it. Like, if I'm feeling like in my head, it's attacking my head, then it will, and I have to be strong in that way. So I have to be strong in a lot of different ways, in my head, in my body, in my soul, in my heart, knowing that my team is going to be really, on point with everything, because like I said, if I give 1 inch of fear to what I'm doing, there's a really good chance, number one, I could get hurt, and I have gotten a little bit hurt before, or number two, I lose, and I don't like to lose. So, I just kind of feel like I was picked for this, and what, I've done 100 of them, and you've been successful 100 times. So,
Okay.
I just kind of feel like it's my calling. I think it's what I love doing more than anything.
No, it was a question that I asked because I kind of sort of, you're it right now, Chris, because Tina, for some reason, got knocked out of the chat room, so she's not here. She's here, but she can't talk or she's not on camera.
Mm-hmm.
You're it, my dear. But
Okay.
the reason I ask that is because there are people out there who, and I know it's not you, but I got to ask the questions that I think people want to ask. Because there are people that will just, like you said, they will try and they won't. They'll figure, I can't do this, it's too heavy. They'll fake that it's done.
Okay, I have a great story for you, Mama. I have a great story for you.
Okay.
So years ago, I got asked, somebody wrote something really negative about me on one of those ridiculous sites or whatever. Anyway, so I was in talks with this couple from Queens here in New York, and they were like, we have a demon, I'm getting attacked, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, let me come out and check it out. When I got there, the house was wonderful. The energy in the house was fantastic, okay? They were lying to me. And they were like, how much are you going to charge me to do an exorcism? They wanted me to give them a number, okay? Knowing that there was nothing wrong there. Now, they didn't realize that I didn't know that nothing was wrong there. I guess they thought I was a fake or whatever. And I told them, I said, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but honestly, there's nothing wrong in this house. I said, I can't take your money. I can't come here and do something that doesn't need to be done. I can't fake it. I said, there's nothing wrong here. And funny thing was, about 3 days later, those people sent me a link to their website. They were the people from the website, and they wrote this whole thing on me saying how I was the most legitimate person that they'd ever come across. They were trying to set me up to show that I was a fake and I was just going to take money and stuff like that. But I didn't fall for it because there was nothing there. So you're right. There are people that will do that. I've seen it many, many times. And as a psychic, okay, forget the exorcism part. As a psychic, there's so many fakes out there that it makes it harder for the legitimate psychics to be taken seriously. So, I'll give everybody one piece of advice. If you want to go to a psychic, make sure they're recommended by people you know. Because recommendations are the best way to find a good psychic as far as I'm concerned.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
And I can't see you. I can't get my camera to come back on, but I got my volume back.
Okay. What you could have done was gone out and come back in. For some reason. But we'll run with this one. That's one of the things that I like about my show, at least I hope it works there, is that people not only get to know the people who are on my show, but they also get a feel, because I'm very particular. I won't just go to any old buddy for a reading, and I won't just have anybody on my show just 'cause. Hopefully somebody can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. That I won't just have anybody on my show just 'cause because they've messaged me or whatever. I have to be able to have a conversation with the person before I get them on my show, because if I can't talk to you and I don't get that good feeling, you know, I can't sit here and talk to you for 2 hours. I think you're as my way, my UK friends.
Absolutely. Well, I'll go a step further, Mama. Gina and I have done shows where we've brought 2 and 3 psychics on to give readings for people, and after the first hour, I tell Gina, they gotta go. They gotta go. They suck. They're not real psychics. And then I'll do the readings the second hour. I mean, Gina, how many times has that happened?
Oh my God, countless times, countless. And, you know, and some of our friends too, you know, same thing. They think they're so great, and it's like, oh God, no.
Yeah, and you know, to me, that's like a strike on Gina and I as co-hosts, because we're like, we're bringing these people on to give readings to people, and the reading shows are the biggest shows. You know, everybody wants a reading. And if you're getting, I mean, like a piss-poor, horrible, obviously bad reading, then that's a reflection on myself and Gina. And at some point, it's like, okay, you know what, I'm taking over, and I don't like doing readings on the air. I don't like it. You know, I started out doing that. I thought I don't need to do that anymore. But when it comes to our show, you know, when that happens, then you got to step in, because, like I said, it's a reflection on myself and Gina. They're like, oh, well, Chris and Gina have been on the show, and they suck. What does that say about Chris and Gina? So I'll never let that happen.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing. I think you guys had a great show because you had that great connection, and you both have your own strengths, so you can feel the person out, you know, before you get them on the show. And if not, even during the show, it's like, yeah, like you said, you know, you'll send messages back and forth, and you know, it won't last long. I don't think I've ever had.
One of the best things about Gina and I, she's my go-to. Her and Bob are my go-to when it comes to the paranormal. Okay, so when we have a guest on that, it's mostly paranormal, you know, equipment and stuff like that, I defer to her. You know, listen, when we do a show, I'm the host. She's the co-host. But if it's a paranormal show, guess what? I defer everything to her. You know, I add my 2 cents in here and there, but I let her take over. And on the same note, if it's more about psychic and stuff that I'm more in tune with, then she defers to me. And that's why we work so well together. We both know our strengths, and we go with it. And we respect each other's strengths. So it just kind of works.
Absolutely, absolutely. And and Bob and I, we do a lot now together. We have a lot of ghost hunts coming up. You know, we have one coming up in April. Once the season starts rolling, we're going to be going almost every single weekend, doing all kinds of events and stuff everywhere. And we always get these things, and psychics want to come in, and it's like, no, I don't want that. You know, it deters, it takes away. So I won't do it unless it's spooky.
Spooky says yes, and have fun. Well, a lot of shows out there nowadays are about readings, are about, you know, getting a card reading or a message from spirit, from my great aunt, whatever, whoever. And I find that I used to go to listen to different shows, and it was the same people, it was the same questions. So I like the shows that you learn something from. You know, if I have a really good friend, Cinnamon Moon, River's mom, and I love her show because I learn things from it. Gina, your show, same thing when I do get to listen. Because I really suck about listening on the archives unless it's really something that's like, okay, gotta sit and not focus on anything else. But you're always teaching. And it's not because you set out to do that, it's because that's just the vibe that you give off. You know. So
Thank you. I try.
Yeah.
I do try. And then there are good go-tos too, though. Like Michelle Arbeau is like an unbelievable numerologist. She may be a little out there, but she is like right on with those readings. You know, so I love to have her.
Have you ever had Michelle on your show, Mama?
Who have I ever had? Who on my show?
Michelle Arbeau. She is by far the number 1 numerologist in the whole United States.
Yeah, you gotta have her. You gotta have her. Send me her info. She is fantastic.
Mm. Well, every time I try to
I'm
book a
still trying to get
numerologist,
her with.
something always happens. So it's like, I know eventually I'll find the right one. I have a couple that I talk to, so, and they're always willing to, but it just never seems to fall into place. So give me her information. I'll have a blast. Oh
Oh
God.
yeah, great. She'll read. Put it out the weeks before. You'll get a whole bunch of things. All she wants a birth date. That's all she needs. The birth date and what someone is, and she does. It's just phenomenal to watch her go.
Yeah. Well, I usually get people who ask me for my date of my time in birth. And birth. That's the only thing I don't have. I know when I was born, I know, the where, but both my parents have passed, so I don't have the time. So for me to get
Yeah,
that
she
from the
doesn't have
hospital,
the time.
yeah,
Yeah,
people,
she doesn't have the time.
because
She's never
people
asked
will
for
leave.
the time, has she, Pookie?
And again, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
She's never asked for the time of birth. It's just the birth date.
No, she has before, but when she does the show, it's basically just on your birthday.
Yeah. I think when they do a more in-depth one, that's when they need the time of birth. So
Yeah.
eventually one day I'll go to the hospital and go, give it up. Take a moment, give it up.
There you go.
But I just have to say, I can only stay till 7:30 because I do have a Skype reading at 7:30.
Okay,
And that's
Pookie.
Yeah, only because I actually thought that the show was an hour, so I didn't realize it was 2 hours.
That's okay. Chris,
I
it's
wasn't
fine.
sure.
Like I said, I have my 2 hour window block, and I can either use it or not use it, and usually it happens. But it's okay, Chris. I'll let you go to your reading. You have Mama's
Okay,
grace.
I have 7 more minutes. I'm not going anywhere yet.
I know. I got 7 minutes
Okay.
left. You said 7:30. I got 7 minutes left.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I wish I could see you again. I still can't get my web camera to go, and I'm like kind of nervous about because this is my computer that I do this all the time. But if I log out and log back in, it won't work. I mean, I could try it if you two want to talk
If
for
you
a few
log
minutes.
if you log out of the show, and at the top left, I believe it is, right, there's a little door with an arrow. Floop, go out and then just come back in the same way you originally started. So maybe that'll help.
All right, I'm
Um,
going to do that. So you two talk amongst yourselves.
we'll
That'll
talk
be
about
best.
you one.
I'll do my best, Gina. I'll do my best to keep it interesting.
Okay.
Okay, Chris, tell us all Gina's secrets.
All my secrets?
mhm.
You don't, no. I can't give my secrets. Absolutely not.
Okay, you tell me how she and Bob met. Your story, your version of it.
How me
That's
and
what
Bob met?
I about her and Bob met. Yeah.
I don't know how her and Bob met. I know how me and Bob met. It was a couple of years ago. Gina and I were doing an event at Burnbury Mansion, and
Okay.
he came. He was like our special guest, that came, and I met him that night, that day for the first time, and we've been best friends ever since. I mean, we just connected. I mean, immediately. I remember I gave him a reading. And Bob is not, listen, as great as he is as a paranormal investigator, he's not a huge believer in psychics, okay? And coming, I have the most respect, when it comes to the paranormal, there are three people I respect above everybody. It's Gina, it's Bob, and it's my friend Tom Gillespie, okay? So when I gave him a reading and I saw how it affected him, I knew he was a believer right away, and he told me, he said, I'd never gotten a reading like that before. And we just kind of connected, and then I guess, I don't know when Gina and he got together, but, we've just been like great friends. Some of my best memories with Bob are, when I go up and visit Gina and I stay the night and whatever, and, Bob is there, and we have our cup of coffee and our cigar in the morning together. We talk for like an hour or 2 hours outside on the terrace, just bouncing things off each other, psychic, paranormal, life, and he just became a great friend of mine. He's an amazing guy as far as I'm concerned.
He's just coming into the chat room, so we won't tell him that you. Oh, okay. When it comes to being okay, now I'm going to bring this up because I remember it when we had the conversation of my last show. I'm going to turn Gina's mic on. Gina, I just turned your mic on.
Okay, thank you.
You spoke about this the last time I had you on the show. Oh, look, she's got her hand
Hi,
up.
I'm back.
And Bob is trolling us in the chat room. He can't
Yes.
hear us, but he
Wait, did
can't
Bob
hear
hear
us,
what
but
I,
he's
what
there.
time? Did Bob hear what I said about him? Because I don't want him to get a swollen head.
No, he didn't. He doesn't have his ears on. He doesn't have his sound on, so he didn't.
No, okay.
Aw.
That just means you have to go back and listen in the archives. There you go. Oh God, brain fart. I forgot, lost where I was going with this. Oh yes. The last time I had you on my show, which was a while back, you had said, and I think this is the most funniest thing, that they had asked you one time, somebody had approached you one time about doing a TV show. And
Right.
you did the interview, probably Skype or whatever.
Right.
And after it, I thought this is hysterical.
I'll tell you the story. I had an interview. I had an interview with the Sci-Fi Network, and I'm known as the Godfather of Psychic Mediums, and they wanted me to do a show as the Godfather of Psychic Mediums, so they gave me an interview. So I did my thing, and I pretty much blew them away. They were like, "Oh my God, that was amazing! This is going to be the next big thing." Blah blah blah. But we want you to be a little bit more Brooklyn Italian. I said, "What? Who's more Brooklyn Italian than me?" So basically, they wanted me to be a caricature of myself, and I wouldn't do it. And you know what? I know I lost money, I know I lost fame and stuff like that, and, if I could do it again, would I? I think I would do the same thing, because to me, reputation is everything, and, being called the Godfather of Psychic Medium, they don't call me that because I'm a tough guy, they call me that because it's about respect for me, and, I respect people, I want people to respect me, I respect the spirits, it's all about respect. And I just felt like, to ask me they were basically asking me to bend it up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really good the way I am. I have my personality, and my personality just kind of plays really well. And, for me to, talk a little bit more Brooklyn or act a little bit more, like, they want me to be dumb. And, I'm not a dumb psychic. I'm a great psychic, and I didn't want to sell out. And so I didn't get the show.
No, well, I think it's great because in the end you ended up getting Gina. Hello, there we go. I thought that was hysterical when they, I know the shows are all about ratings, whether it's a paranormal investigation show, whether it's a medium show, it's cut and spliced and shown exactly where they, there's a request, yes, Bob is downstairs in her basement, she keeps him chained up there. Okay, Gina, for some reason you've gone mute, hold on a second, okay, I've unmuted you. That little comment doesn't through my brain. One of the things I'm very good at is smoothing the
Losing it? No, well, you were talking about how shows are for the ratings, and they are, and that's why and I'm now part of Ghost Detectives, which is on their 8th season. I filmed their 100th episode with them at the end of last season, and now I'm a cast member, which I'm really proud to say that I am, because they are 100% real show. I mean, if you go to a place and you get nothing, you get nothing, okay? Because that's what it is. You could sit for hours and talk to nothing, and get nothing. Or you could have a house full of activity. But, TV, everyone wants to see, demons and poltergeist activity and people getting hurt and scratched and punched and, all this stuff. And it's like, I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen, because it does.
Yeah.
But it's very rare that stuff happens. And Ghost Detectives is a very real-based show.
Okay, well, you're going to have to make sure you give me the link. Chris, I think you're going to be leaving us soon, so before you do go, I want to thank you 1,000 times for being able to be with us for the first half of the show.
It's my pleasure. Love you guys.
You're feeling this here. Bob, shut up. Bye, sweetie. Love you.
I hear Bob come up the stairs. We have very creaky stairs. That is our alarm system in the house. Very creaky stairs. I hear him coming.
There you go. Okay.
You guys have a great night. Have a great second half of the show. And if any of your listeners want to find me on Facebook, it's C. George. C-E-E George. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. Bye, sweetie.
Good night.
Bye. Of course you can't hear anything. He didn't have if you notice his name, there's no speaker next to it. Does his headphones still on?
All right. I took my headphones off. I got speakers on. Is that going to be an issue?
I don't think so. Well, we'll figure it out. If I hear an echo, then we'll know it's an issue, but I'm not big. Okay. So, hello, Bob. Yeah, it's okay. I've seen it quite a few times on Facebook Live, driving the car going, oh my God.
Then I'm going to go. Here, you go over here. Okay. So this is my other partner in crime. So now we talked with Chris for the first hour, okay, and that's the introductions and that's the radio and all that. Yeah. And this is Bob Christopher, who is the owner and creator of Vortex Ghost Gear, he creates all the paranormal equipment, that we use, the trigger prop cats and dogs. I have my trigger prop box right over here. I'll go grab it. Hold on.
Okay. And Bob, don't roll your eyes. I get to see you.
Not too much.
This is a trigger prop box, right? Because I'm the Parafox, so I am the only one in the world that has it. Okay, you can turn it on and demonstrate. I don't know how good my batteries are though. But
family show?
This is a family show.
Yes, it's a family
show.
With the fox.
Yeah. See how he lights up? He has sound and light, and you can have tones and sounds like a.
And so what does the little fox do?
Well, Bob, explain how the.
Bob, please explain.
Normally, I don't make boxes. This is a special request. I do dogs and cats, and they're trigger props for paranormal investigating. Basically, what they do is they put a bubble around them. It's like a proximity sensor. And if any energy breaks that bubble, the lights on the collar or the nose will go off.
Okay.
We have a lot of equipment for different things, for different reasons.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing about paranormal investigation is I know like this much. Okay. I'm the screamer in the room. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to you be talking about pieces of equipment. I'm going to ask you to explain it and explain it just as you just did, very simply and behave. Even though Eric in the chat room's liking you because you asked this is a family show or not.
Yeah, we can turn that upside down real quick. If you want the not family show, come to my show.
I was going to put an adult rating on this.
You never know. You never know. But no, seriously. No, we work together. In the paranormal. We have a lot of events coming up. For our Ghostly Excursions. So if you go to Ghostly Excursions, www.ghostlyexcursions.com, you can see the list of the events and the investigations that we have coming up that are, for the public. Our first one is starting in April, the end of April 28th. It is at the Knickerbocker Hotel. What an amazing place. And we're only doing this for 20 people. So if you really want to go to the Knickerbocker, which is in Linesville, yep, New Erie and Pembroke. Then go there, get your tickets quick because you don't want to miss that one. There's a story behind a doll that is there that Bob actually took from a case, the clown doll that ended up getting possessed by a woman. Yeah, what's her name? Rose. Justine
Rose.
Right? Justine Rose is possessing this doll, and it was a woman actually firstly bought it at a yard sale. Then it was making all kinds of noises. It was running up and down the stairs, it up and down the hall, or whatever. But it was disrupting the house, and Bob asked if she had gotten anything new in the home, and that was it. And then you found out, so he took it. He said, take it outside. and she took it outside, and the activity stopped. So then Bob came, and she said, please come and get it. So Bob came and got it, and then he did some recordings, and he got the names. Well, then, after investigation, just to make a long story short, we found out that the doll was bought from a yard sale that was from a nursing home, and this Justine Rose owned that doll, and she passed away in the nursing home. Now, people, you get these stories about haunted dolls and haunted things all the time, and how that happens is, in life, if there's someone, and all you have is this, and you're holding on to this, say you're an old woman and you lost your whole entire family, this is what you have. Yeah. This is what you cling to. This is what you love. And
exactly,
you can, basically put your essence into that. It happens. So, that's what happened. But, they tried, Bob and Dave Giuliano tried to bind it, tried to do this and that. Didn't really work too well. But the woman that owns the Knickerbocker, we're having our first event in April, and she wanted that doll in the worst way. And she's like, no, you got to bring it over here. There was some kind of connection.
Okay.
So Bob's like, no, you don't want this doll. And she's like, no, I really want that doll. So he brought it over there, and he goes over there, and he has done events there. I have not been here yet. I'm looking forward to going here, okay, and to meeting Justine Rose myself. But he put the doll in the lap, and, it's like, you recognize me. And how did that go?
Oh, we always put, a static dome on my knee, and we'll have another one over there, away from us, and we'll ask it to light it up if it remembers us. And every time I go there, it lights up on my knee.
Okay. So that's a dome. I don't think I have one right here handy. I might, but so it's looks like a little puck, and it has lights on the top of it.
Yeah.
And static, if when you rub hands together or you rub on a balloon, you hear.
My hair.
I think mine's right there.
Upstairs.
Yeah, we have time.
We'll grab some stuff. Yeah, we get an hour. Go ahead.
Bye.
All right, so be right back. Hey, take all that crap with you on the way. Hey! Pile of stuff on the stairs door. See?
No, it wasn't. It was just...
tell you this. I can tell you this real quick. Did you notice how he just said, I'm coming up? We have to announce, my house is haunted here. And I knew it when I bought it, too. But now I'm finding out more and more information. But the third floor is always giving me you feel like you're in truth. So we always announce ourselves when we go up there and say we're coming up,
That's cool. You have, that's what I like about you, is you have the respect that some people don't show to spirit. You do that by respecting them that's their house. It may be your house, but it's their house first. So you're giving them the respect to let them know that, okay, we're coming up there, and, this way, otherwise nobody will be using you.
That's what I try to teach. Like when I was saying, when I do my events with Chris, what I do is I teach the equipment that we have, why we have it, why we use it. This, everything has its different meaning. We have a geophone that's for vibrations, so that will light up. My doggy's here. So you can put that, say people say they have a spirit going up and down the hall or up and down the stairs. You can put the geophone on there. And if something actually makes a vibration going by, it will light up. So you can see that. So then there's static, there's proximity, there's things that we have a tray with the HTO. You hook a wire to the tray. You can put an object on the tray and say it's grandma's favorite brooch. Or someone's keys that keep getting misplaced. So you put that in the dish and you say, please go and touch that now if you're the one that's been using that, or moving that. Well, where did that come from? I didn't even know we had this thing.
Oh my God, another song. That's scary.
Yeah. There's a jack in the box. I didn't even know we had a jack in the box. This is the tray. This is what I was just saying. This is the tray for the HTO. Okay. And the HTO is Don't be falling.
Funny.
Don't be falling.
Right, no,
because it would be recorded and posterity.
Oh, this is nice. Alright, what can we put in here? Water.
Water.
Alright, so you can put the water, or you can look at, you can put a booze bottle, you can put a water bottle, a bottle of perfume, or whatnot on the HC tray. That is the HTO, and what it does is it lights up.
Can you see it? No.
No, hold it up.
Can't have it lifted up.
You gotta put it on books.
I can't see it.
Put it on books. Almost.
A little bit higher. Almost.
8 more books.
You think you can find? You think you can find any? I will pass.
Uh-oh. This world stuff.
Breaking things now.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Let's take a couple of
She's alright.
I got
She's alright.
Shirley MacLaine books. I seriously do.
Ooh, I'd like to get a hold of those.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Just a little quick one. Gina is in our chat room is Eric Glynn. He is a good friend of mine and the show, and he's a medium. And his Teddy, oh God, can't think of the word. His guide, his other half is Teddy, and he's been with Eric for I think 10 years now, and he likes to play with electricity, and he also likes to go visiting places. So if you allow him, Eric, if Teddy wants to go, he can go.
Absolutely.
Mm.
What you gotta do is you just gotta touch this water.
See, it doesn't work.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm adjusting it.
Yeah,
the sensitivity button on the top. There you go.
Alright?
Okay.
So Teddy, come on in and you can touch that water bottle and it will light up. Or if anybody is here and wants a drink of water, feel free to come in and grab the bottle.
Hmm. Yes. No, Teddy is well known for messing. Okay, he's around. He's over. You can see. Teddy is well known for messing with the electricity of this show. Every time I've had him as Eric as my Teddy behave. As Eric as my guest on my shows. Teddy always amazes people. So yeah. So if he wants to go, he may not play with what you want him to play with because Teddy is an individual, and he likes to do what he wants to do, whether people like it or not. So, what is that?
This is the dome. This is the static dome.
Looks like the eight.
Yeah, it's a good closer view.
Oh, there you go. We lit up. I think that was because you were close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, and this is the geophone what I was telling you about. Right? When you turn this on, you can adjust the sensitivity on this. And
okay.
how this works is, I gotta put it
Vibration.
on, yeah, I gotta put it on something else.
You know, I feel like
Don't move, Bob. Welcome to my show, Bob. Boys always get abused here.
It's just, that's Iris. That's the lowest.
Teddy's looking at the books, and Gina, you have. Okay, hold on. This is from Eric through Teddy. Yada yada yada. Why has Gina got a little girl upstairs? Teddy's asking. Got a little girl upstairs.
There is a little girl upstairs. Thank you. There is a little girl upstairs, and I have a little carriage for her up there.
Now, you know what? Eric, this would work so much better if you just turned on your microphone. Can I turn on your microphone? She says yes, but it squeaks. So hold on a second. Your mic is on, Eric. Go ahead. Eric. Okay.
Okay. Why is this such a huge thing for all paranormal investigation stuff? This is the thing. Okay. We teach all this equipment. Okay. This equipment does have a place. Alright. Now we're just doing this crammed right here, right now. Okay. But when you have a home and someone's saying that their stuff is being moved and you have to prove it, Okay, that's why this comes in handy, because you can tell this is for a specific reason. The geophone is for a specific reason. You just don't go throw all this crap around and, all the lights up. But we explain, and I explain to the spirits as well. And I say, okay, I am turning this on. Okay, I'm going to tell you how it works and why it works. And I'm talking to the spirit when I'm doing it. And I'm going to say it is not going to burn you, harm you, scratch you, pinch you, electrify you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, it is just so that we can prove that you're here. Psychics, mediums, they can hear you, they can see you.
Mm-hmm.
For investigators, we can't. We need devices to hear, to see. We need visuals. We need to see things. We need to hear things. We need to prove things. So we're constantly trying to find the right instrument for what the case is. I like thermal imagery. I've gotten amazing things from thermal imagery. So that's the thing. It's not, and a lot of people will go out and, overpower everything. But it's the investigator that has to make the case. It's the investigator that needs to put the equipment to proper use and not abuse, but use. Hello. So, hi.
Yeah, I saw that. What?
Yeah, it shouldn't.
What is that thing again that you had lit up?
Dome and the that's it. Explain this better than me. He explains better than I do.
Okay.
It's my dog.
Have you ever gone into a place and you had that feeling where on the back of your neck the hair stands up or the hair on your arm stands up?
Yeah.
This device picks up that kind of static charge, okay? I believe anyway, that the static has a big deal in the paranormal, whether it's either before something happens, during something happens, or a byproduct of paranormal activity. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I keep experimenting with it.
They're pretty good. Thank you. Yeah. So don't we have squillions of TV shows and online shows that are dedicated to this
spookiest time folks have had.
That is true. That's why I hate that stuff. So he has Ghost Detectives, which I'm now part of, and it's a total real based show, and it's not exploiting anything. It's just the truth. It's just what is. It's a real investigation and really what happens. It's not amped up. It's not, you're not going there and riling up a spirit so that it does something bad.
Yeah, no, I've seen shows like that where the guy was, and I'm not a TV watcher. It's just, it was on one day and this guy was it was a rerun show, say, oh, go ahead, smack me. And I'm going, you're going to get smacked and you ain't going to like it. And then 5 seconds later, it got smacked and the guy screamed.
Of course.
I was like,
yeah, that's,
it's a matter of respect, so yeah.
It is. You got to respect yourself too. You got to respect yourself. You got to respect the client. You got to respect the spirits. You got to respect your teammates. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Not going to be up here. She's like, the family's up here. So
she's like, this is a family show. Let's get me on here. I need to be on here. It's okay. Onyx is napping, otherwise he'd be up here too. He's in snuggle mode today. Onyx is my dog. Now, how did you guys meet?
I'm going to trigger pop.
There's a little dog. It looks like this one can be a trigger pop. I met him actually at Haldeman Mansion. What was it?
It was our ghost hunt. It was a paracon, and then we had a ghost hunt afterwards. And you were there.
I stayed
8 years ago.
Yeah.
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 It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So I met him there the first time, and I was there with my Staten Island team at the time, and me and my friend at the time, Sue, we stayed there as we were going to hunt after the hunt, And so after everybody went home, it was just her and I in the building. Man, did we get some creepy crap. Oh, Lord. I got an EVP. We were in the room that was over the kitchen. And we set up tents because the place was just, there's bugs crawling all over the place and everything. So we set tents up inside the house to sleep in, you know. But we were in the room over the kitchen, and I got an EVP of it sounded like a black woman going, "It's my kitchen." You know? Oh. We were looking down the stairs, and I'm like, "Oh, do these stairs go down to the kitchen?" And then that was the EVP. It was my kitchen. Okay, your kitchen. But I got a lot out of Haldeman Mansion when I was there. You know, a lot of evidence, a lot of EVPs. I'm going to read this over here. Contracts.
Cheryl said, in other words, video proof or audio proof that the entity is there and not just someone's word for it.
And that is true too about the no crossing over things. I mean, you're not allowed, like if you go to a Trans-Allegheny or, you know, places of Aldermans and things like that, and they say don't cross the spirits over because that's their money, that's their living.
Yeah, true.
Even though it's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But it is that's their living.
But do you think? Have you ever been to a venue that the spirit really wants to cross over and it's like,
if they want to cross
over,
they will. Yeah, I mean, if they want to, they'll ask you. They know. I swear they know. If someone is there that can help them, they know it, and they'll start asking you. I crossed one over, just explaining how I was going to cross them over. I thought I was going to need help with this woman to cross her over. And this is actually a really cool story because a friend of mine was into sound and had a big soundboard and whatnot. And I had brought over a recorder, and his friend, who was a woman, passed away in the house. And they both love music, so he was a sound, the guy that runs everything. Hello, at a show.
What in the world is that?
I don't know. Hello.
Just quickly in the chat, Teddy says the little girl upstairs is a bit lonely. She had a brother, but he's crossed over, and I'd like to know if you guys did that or somebody else helped the little brother to cross over.
I did not. But the woman that I was crossing like this house, I couldn't stay in this house long because my ears ring when spirits are around, and this woman was very chaotic, and it was just like, it would give me a headache after a while, so I couldn't stay there long. And I said, you know, I gotta get rid of this woman, and he was so used to it. You know, like he was with the sound all the time. He was like, just, you could feel it in the house. There was this atmosphere, a heavy atmosphere, and this tone in this house. And I could just, I had to leave. And then I went into her room, and I was just explaining to her exactly the process, being as respectful as I can, and telling her what was going to happen, and how exactly it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, she crossed. And it was like, everything, it was like someone took, if you had a stereo and it was turned up on like this sound, okay, it was like someone shut that whole thing down and it was like boom, and it was just like silent, absolute silence, and the air went from this heavy dance to like light, and it was amazing. And I mean, I was down the hall and in the bedroom when I was doing this, and she crossed, and he was sitting in the kitchen and felt it and heard it and said, "What was that?" He yelled down the hall. And he's like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And it was amazing.
But that wasn't in your house. That wasn't in your house?
It's a friend of mine's house.
Okay.
Yes, she wants to be me.
Just throw her over. Throw her over, Johnny. It's okay, Lacey. It's okay. It's okay. I'll take care of you.
Get over it.
We still love you. It's okay. We know that you want to sit on balls. I'm not going to go anywhere. The little girl says she likes toys with the flashy lights Bob makes.
Oh, good.
That's
good, because we got them all up there.
Okay.
There's dolls and stuffed animals and all kinds of things up there for her. And a little carriage. It's a bunny carriage. And there's a little dress in there.
If I remember correctly, Teddy said that it squeaks.
Yeah.
The carriage, does it squeak?
It will.
He said,
Yeah. it's like an antique thing. It's really cool. I'll post a picture of it later.
Cool. Okay. Eric says she has learned to turn the lights on. The little girl that's upstairs.
Oh no, that was it. I put a wow. I put a what do you call those? The outside lights, the solar light. I put
Motion
solar
sensor?
light in the window.
Okay.
Yeah. And Bob was outside, he's like looking up at the house at night and he said, did you turn the light on upstairs? I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh no, I got a solar light in the window.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So this is cool.
yeah.
So have you guys, if you do investigations together, have you ever disagreed on something?
Yeah.
And what?
Disagreed on something. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And of course, Gina wins.
She always wins.
I'm always right. That is rule number one. Gina's always right. Rule number
Rule
two.
number 2, forget rule number 1. Go to your corner.
No, Bob knows his stuff. He does. He's, I respect him. I respect him for he's got more years in the paranormal investigating than I do. But I don't think that makes it makes a big difference to some people. For me, I don't think it does. I'm special. If I go into something, I jump wholeheartedly and I devote my entire being to it. I will learn everything I possibly can about the subject, and I'm still learning and I don't know it all. I swear to God, too much I know. But what I do know, I don't know. And I'm not afraid to teach what I know, and one thing for me in the paranormal is rule number one is respect, and your body is your best tool.
Mm-hmm. Teddy has moved downstairs, moved down. He's talking about a big promo picture in a frame.
Well, I have several promo pictures. I have a book that's me and Pookie, and that's the C&G Productions behind us. I've got Steve DeShavi, the one next door. His promos in the frames in the closet upstairs.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff around here.
I know. I have so much stuff. I have so much stuff.
But do you enjoy? Okay, I know everybody is able to has the ability to become psychics and paranormal investigators. But have you ever come across somebody who who just wanted to learn for the wrong reasons? That you just kind of said,
all the
"Oh,
time.
them."
Yeah. And I'll get them out as quickly as they come in.
Okay. Okay. Teddy just wanted to prove that it's out of sight. Maybe next door could mean in the. He's he's in the back room and he's standing behind Gina's right shoulder right now. He's in the back of the room. Yeah. Teddy,
Several
one day I'll
over there.
explain to you who Teddy is. Teddy was of this earth, and he was a very special gentleman, and he got his introduction to Eric was in the shower doing what a guy does when he's showering, and he heard this voice in the bathroom, and it was like Eric was like, could you wait till I'm done in the shower? And
Oh yeah.
Spirit, we don't get to pick and choose where we want, but Teddy is always welcome to this show. Sometimes he likes to muck with my sound, but
that is a heck of a wake up call. So, but that's true. My house in Massachusetts was extremely haunted. A lot of spirits around, but I always laid down the law with them too. I said, I can get rid of you at any time. I know how, and I will if you don't behave. And and I said, there's two rules. You're not allowed in my bedroom, and you're not allowed in my bathroom. You break the rules, and I will make you leave. And did they break the rules sometimes? Yes. I have a whole video. I have just a stupid little $20 ghost meter thing. I bought it, and I put it on my bed, and I said, all right, I'm going to try this, and it didn't do crap. I tried it a couple times, it really didn't do crap. Then just one day, I knew something was in my room, and that was the only thing that was like kind of close to my proximity that I could grab. So I grabbed it, I had this whole conversation. I'm like, are you in my room? Like, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, are you supposed to be in my room? Beep, 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 beep. Like, no. I said, well then, after this whole long conversation, I said, are you going to get out of my room? And then it was like, beep. I said, all right, goodbye. And then there was nothing, and it was pretty cool. But,
yeah. Eric says there are two rules working with spirit. One, spirit is the star, not us. And two, if you think you're a star, reread rule number 1.
Well, it is true, but we can make them leave. I mean, we can. We are living. We do hold the power, and he's got to agree with that, and that is the truth. Because one way or the other, we can either exercise them or whatever means possible. That's what we do. If there's a bothersome spirit, but for the most part, spirits are just people. And they were alive just like us, and they're curious, and they want to hang on, and they want us to communicate, and they want to, or just get a message to their loved ones, or whatnot, whatever the reason. But they were people. So you can learn to live together. People are afraid, people that don't know, they're afraid. It's like, oh my God, I have a ghost in my house. It's like, well, you know what? There's more dead people on the planet than there are living, alright? So, think about that.
Exactly.
You're walking through spirits every day of your life, whether you want to believe that or not, but you are. They are everywhere. And when they want to make themselves known, they will. If they do have a message for you, they will. If they know that you can hear them, they will hound you until they hear them. And sometimes they'll come to you at night when you're sleeping because right before sleep, right the REM part of your sleep, you are more susceptible to hearing them at that point. So a lot of people get that sleep paralysis thing. That is a spirit actually, they're not holding you down to hold you down to terrorize you. They're holding you down because they've been trying desperately to communicate with you and you're not listening. At this point you can't listen because you're not focused on your day-to-day worries about the wife, the husband, the kids, the family, the job, everything. All that's gone. You're about to go to sleep. You're in that REM state. That's all gone at that point. So you can hear the spirit at that point. You may not remember, and again, it's a frustrating thing for a spirit. But that's what will make it can make a spirit angry because they'll know, like, you can deny having abilities, you can deny being an empath, you can deny being the medium. It's still not going to change the fact that you are, and spirits will know that.
Yeah.
When does it actually happen?
REM sleep, right before you REM sleep. You're just on
Can
that
it happen
break.
after, like you've been asleep for a while?
That's a different thing.
What is it?
It's like it's going from a sleep paralysis to, you could be getting held down, but that's like you going to lucid dreaming and all this kind of stuff like that. It's like your next phase.
When I was a kid, I had that being held down, but my bed was levitated.
That's interesting. This is very interesting. Yeah, you were in a very haunted house.
Most haunted place I've ever been in with all my years of paranormal investigating.
Right. And he does have a gift because he can, every once in a while, he has this thing about he can predict something that's bad's going to happen and be like, I know what's going to happen. I know something bad. And my niece had a car accident. And he was like, oh my God, something, I don't know what it is, but it's something,
Yeah.
And then my niece got into a bad accident. And, it was kind of crazy. But that spirit, were you the only one in the house?
Oh, no, everybody. Like, everybody. Even when I brought friends over, they would mess with them.
Oh.
It was probably a teenage boy.
Yeah.
In the chat room,
We would see it pretty much weekly. You know.
in the chat room, Eric Glynn says someone that hears spirit is like a candle in a dark room, and the moth's just attracted to it. And Scott Stevens says his spirit and his guides know that he has a very vast sense of humor and often talk in less than a gentlemanly manner. They know they don't, and they know if they don't like it, they need to go look for a different home. Something tells me, yes, that it's people just, oops. Sharon says, we had investigators at Amy's home once. The spirit turned the electric off to the house, drained the power to all the batteries. Then the female walked through Amy, and the male was an angry spirit, and he entered me without permission and tried to make me start cussing the investigators out, which I refused to do. My body temperature started dropping, and I was freezing. We were able to get the female to cross over, but the male refused to leave. Question: should I have protective energy around me before they arrived?
Yes. Okay. And one thing, if you're the homeowner and you don't listen, like I say, I don't just go into a house and start investigating. There's paperwork that I want you to fill out. There's interviews I go through. I find out exactly who you are and your psyche and how willing, how strong a person you are. Can you handle being there during the investigation? If not, I don't want you anywhere near the investigation because, again, this is no joke. This is reality. This is real. People can get hurt. People can get possessed. There you go. Right there. That investigative team dropped the ball. Okay? Can't do it. You don't do it. You need to protect yourself. I protect myself twice a day, every day. I start my day with it. I end my day with it because I put myself in it. I'm in it. That's my job, right? I've got to protect myself. And if you're going to have someone else, you need to protect them too. And you need to teach them how to protect themselves. Whether you put in white light and a bubble around them, there's many, many ways that you can protect them. Even if they just cage themselves, just, anything. What religion are you? There's so many, this is such a huge topic. I could talk for 2 hours just on this, okay? There's so many ways to protect yourself, and you need to do that. You need to.
Trying to read the question. If you see me going like this, I can't see very well.
Bob, have you got a workshop down the basement or lower level of petty assassinated with the finished boxes and toys? Yes. Yes! Oh my God, his workshop where he makes the trigger prop cats and dogs. There's a whole box of cats and dogs down in the basement that he's turning into trigger prop cats and dogs. I have the big workshop day. The big tool workshop is mine. And the small little, is there a flag? Is there a flag? Is there a flag? No.
That's what I know.
I might have a flag in my crap. But yeah, that's funny. Yeah, there's two workshops. The huge one's mine, the wood shop, and the electronics shop is his.
Sharon says she was born seeing spirit and other issues so they don't scare her, but she has never had an experience where they entered her body before. She learned from that experience.
Yeah, I had, now this is very nice. I went to a place where a little girl ran right through me. And that's just because I was in a path. And then actually my hair blew. It was ridiculous at Rolling Hills. We're having two events. We're doing a filming for Ghost Detectives at Rolling Hills, and I'm having and we're doing an event at Rolling Hills May 26th, I think. And so you can go again www.ghostexcursions.com and get tickets for that. But yeah, the first time I was there, and the little girl went, you could hear the footsteps running up the tunnels. It was boom, 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 and I had a millimeter and a flashlight. That's all I had. And the millimeter went up to 28, right? And I mean, usually it's like 1.0, 2 point this. It was like boom, 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 and it was just going whoop. And then at 28 was like the last I looked at. I'm like going, hey! And then the little girl just ran right through me, and oh my God, what a feeling! It was like a whoof, you know. And it was an intense feeling, but I knew it was a little girl. I knew it. You know, I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. And it's never happened since. You know, nothing like that ever happened since.
Mm.
So there's a difference between, you know, something, you interrupting something, or someone, you know, a spirit that...
So technically you were in the path of the little girl and she just went boom, boom. And it wasn't done on purpose, it was just like you were in the way and she just said, go around, go over. Hell, I'll just go through. You know? Exactly. Whereas in Sharon's case, the gentleman, chose to go to her.
Come back through Gina. I don't get it.
You might feel a little whoosh again. Okay, behave, Teddy. Her boyfriend's sitting right there. He'll kick your ass, Teddy.
What's up, Cookie? But yeah, so it's, you know,
okay.
Did not feel it.
I have a question on your cats and your dogs. He's back. If people want to order them from you, can they? Or do you make them special made?
Huh? Yeah, Vortex Ghost Gear. VortexGhostGear.com. VORTEX GhostGear.com. And yeah, all these things are on there. The V-Pods, the geophones, the trigger prop cats and dogs, and there's all kinds of dogs. I mean, all breeds, like a lot of breeds, not all breeds, a lot of breeds, and a lot of breeds of cats. You know, the cat was a new thing. It started out just being the black and white cat, and yeah, you should. You get to see the cat. It's a cat for the dog. It's a gray.
Yes. Go get one of each.
It's a gray and white cat. Okay, that's really cool. This is not a trigger prop. That is silly.
That's meditating.
I gotta this. It's kind of irritating me.
Eric was saying that Teddy said something about a raven or a crow totem that bobs. And Ruby says hello.
Hello, Ruby. How are you? Even a crow. That would have to be him because I am a rabbit, a fox, a turkey. The turkey is the only bird on mine. So I would say that that's Bob's. I've never, dolphin! Dolphin, yes. Oh, the leg is caught in my string. Okay, alright, oh, there we go, okay. Alright. Strangle put that up. Okay. Oh, thank you. There it is. So yeah, the cat.
It takes some time, but I can get it.
She's so quick with that. I'm horrible with that with my show, but you know what? This is such a better setup than I have. I'm sorry. I want to come into it though.
Well, go look at go take a look at the packages that they have and talk to Jenny. She's the creator, and Jukebox has only been here 3 years. It was one woman who made this. She's a computer technology something or another. She works with computers as a day job, and she created this by herself. She's had a little bit of help afterwards, but mostly this is hers.
Wow, amazing, great job.
Yes.
Great job. It is. It's so much fun. I love blog talk. So. Oh, here we go. Oh, Lacey, what is this? Oh, she always goes crazy. She's like, what is this? Okay, so this is some example.
He's so cute.
The bad
down.
Oh, he's so adorable.
Yep. They are lifelike. They are made by Melissa and Doug.
Yes, that's the name.
I have a deal with Melissa and Doug. They're allowing me to rip their dog's guts out and put stuff in them.
Sweet. Yep,
they're all lifelike. I think we have 16 breeds on the website.
Yep, yep. And they don't have Lacey's a Papillon. They don't have a Papillon, but they do have a Pomeranian.
How about a Shih Tzu?
And all kinds of dogs.
Now the cats, I couldn't find any lifelike cats in the U.S. So these I get over in the UK. These are by Rochetta. These are very, very lifelike cats.
I know, with the mangled ears and stuff too, and
They have mangled ears?
well, one of them had a ear down. I love the calico. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? So now, if you were a child spirit, we lost
her.
We lost her.
I'm still here. I can still hear you.
Okay, I can't see you. All right, but so you guys can still see. But yeah, the cats were like, we had a whole box of the cats, and we had them dumped out onto the couch downstairs, and then we lined them up all along the stairs and did a video. Yeah. Lacey wants them. Lacey wants them.
Lacey's in love.
Missy kitty. Missy kitty. Boy, he's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. Oh, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff on that site,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's that and then some equipment that I use. The most important thing too is a recorder to listen to the voices.
That's a question. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's an app for a ghost box or a voice box for a phone. Now, is that actually a reliable thing or not?
It's an app for like a ghost box on the phone. Well, I've used Echo Box, and I've actually a couple times gotten some pretty good results from it. That's Dan. What's his last name?
I know who you're talking about.
Oh God, I can't think of his last name.
Danny.
Is it Rothfish?
Something.
Something. Dan. But Dan, you can look it up.
Sorry, Dan.
Echo Vox, and he, that works. I'm not really keen on app things.
Okay.
Like I don't like Audulus. I don't like things that are programmed.
Okay.
But I do like using Spirit Box because it scans radio, but it scans it at a pace that you pick. And it's scanning multiple stations quickly, and you can get, a spirit can use that to put their voice in it, and they can, wait, you did a good one. Go there. So if you ask a question and you say, okay, were you a patient in this hospital? And they say, yes, I was a patient, or no, I was a nurse. Then the answer like that over multiple radio stations, what are the odds that is, an actual, interference from a radio itself is, the odds are high, right? So I like using that.
You're not big on the apps for like the computer?
No, I don't like the ethereal and the.
How about the other ones that broadcast a signal? They use the ultra high frequency instead of the radio signal.
That's different. We want to develop something with that. I think that's a cool idea. It just needs to be researched more. We're going to come up with something.
Well, see, those apps, when you understand them more, they actually work on Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So they're only picking up a signal in a 50-foot area. So if you're communicating with something and it's talking to you on that app,
Okay.
in that bubble.
If you can get it to work that way.
Right.
But I don't like that ghost app, the stupid thing that has that little radar-looking thing like in a submarine, and all of a sudden it beeps up, oh, there's a ghost here, there's a ghost here. That's retarded.
No, you got to use the radio. I've actually seen an amazing session with Zappis, John Zappis, where it was talking in a different language.
Then how do you know what it said?
John and Dave did. It was talking in Latin.
Right. Well, I'm not saying I know it all. I'm just saying that was my.
That's not it though, because that wasn't good enough for me. That they were answering. So I got a Google Translator.
Okay, that's what I would do.
And it was translating it as I was going, as they were saying it.
All right, because that's what I would do, because I would want to know the truth. But usually anything I do like that anyway, I record it, and then I can play it on the computer after.
Mm-hmm.
And listen. So if it's a different language, like I've used apps on my phone for that fact, for language. I've used it at Rolling Hills to talk to Nurse Emmy because she's German. So I would talk into my phone, and have it translate into German what I'm asking. And then if she answers in German, I will play it and play it back into the phone so I can get the answer. So.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's endless on what you can do in the skills. It's just how open are you?
Nothing's wrong either. Because we don't know what's right and what's wrong.
That's true. That's why you keep on, you try
keep on
everything.
searching.
Yeah. No one knows it all. No one's found the ultimate tool, but we keep trying,
I think so long as you're open to the ideas of something new, like, like you said, Bob is always tinkering with this, that, and trying to come up with this, that, and the other thing. And that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Well, I think we're going to call it a night because I can't see squat. I am so frozen. And it's not, poor Lacey's stuck in frozen mode and I have the beagle staring at me.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Okay.
It's so cute. And I know my camera's off, but everything is frozen. I can't even type in the chat room, so hopefully I'll be able to log it up. But definitely thank you ever so much, Gina, for being here with me, and Bob, you and your little puppies. I want a penguin, by the way. I want a penguin. You have one? They're going to go shopping. But
there's a thing in there that says, if I buy a piece of equipment, what should I buy first? A recorder. And let me show you. Can you still see me, Sharon? This is a Sony recorder. Alright, that's my favorite recorder. Bob's got his favorite recorder. Everybody gets their favorite recorder. But I have two of them in here. The recorder, because you hear more than you'll ever see. I'll tell you that right now. Seeing is if you make sure it's digital. You want a digital recorder so that you can put in your computer, and then you can take those things and you put them into a program like WavePad or what's that other one? Cool Edit, yeah. So you can see the actual sound wave, and you can hear your voice. You can look for anything that's other than your voice, and you can isolate it. You can turn it up so you can hear it, and that's how you do that. But that again, that would be a whole nother show on teaching you how to do that. And we have to say goodnight. So, questions? Get in touch with me. Message me. Be happy to talk to you. Bob, he's a great go-to guy for all these pieces of equipment, why and how and where and all that kind of stuff, where to get it. All right? So come join us on some of our events. Can I say them real quick?
Yes, say them. Go.
Knickerbocker, April 28th. Rolling Hills is May 26th. Historic Palmyra is August 11th. Bolton Mansion, September 29th. David Stewart Farm, October 13th. You can come ghost hunt with us on any one of those dates, and we are going to be doing some other stuff in between as well. Showing up. We're going to be at Para Unity, Salem Con, a lot of different events we got going on. So we will be around. But we are accessible. Look us up on Facebook. Okay. Friend request.
So yes, find Gina Bankson on Facebook, and if you can't message me, I will make sure that you connect with her. Awesome lady, Bob, Gina, thank you. Chris, thank you for being here. I hope your reading is going well, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Everybody in the chat room, Cheryl, Eric, Ruby, thank you for coming. Scott, Sharon, Sharon, those are my marbles. Thank you everybody for being here, and I will see you next week when, next week, people in the chat room, I am very pleased to announce that my guest will be, she's in the chat room right now, Cheryl Prevett will be my guest. So I expect everybody to be here, because this will be her first time on radio, and she's like, I made her husband write up her bio, so this is going to be a fun show.
Well, I'll have to tune in for that one. Well, thanks for having me, and Pookie, and Bob, and I appreciate it, and I will be seeing you soon.
We will talk soon. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Hey, good night.
And I can't even look. Stop the recording.
Oh,
Oh, it's going to be fun.
log out. All right. Bye.
Bye.